What is up, YouTube? We are randomly going live on a Sunday afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon now. I am just going to get these links real quick so I can see the chat once people start hopping in here. Yeah, I just wanted to randomly decide to do a live stream, I guess. So yeah, we will see if anyone shows up or if anyone comes and hangs out. So what is up, Michael? How are you? How are you? I hope you are doing well. Trying to get this the tech side of this thing popped up and popped out and get all that done. For some reasons, iTunes is opening. Classic technology. What is up, Robert? How are you doing? How are you doing? Yeah, let's figure all of this out. Sometimes I am bad at live streaming on YouTube. I haven't done this in a long time, so forgive me if anything seems a little off. How's everybody doing today? Brussels, my man, live on YouTube for once instead of the Twitch chat. So I hope you guys are having a good Sunday so far. How is everyone doing? Yasir, how are you? Salam, brother. I hope we are having a good Sunday so far. Excited for Monday, if we can be excited for Monday. Cynic cover letter asking for an internship without an open offer. Been rejected. Yay. So I actually am going to be doing a video very soon about that, about cover letters specifically, about internships without an opening or with an opening. I have a interesting story that I need to share with you guys that a friend on Twitch from the YouTube channel, but talks on Twitch with me a lot, shared with me. And it's about that exact situation. He'd been running through a Udemy course. He hadn't even finished it yet. It was his first introduction kind of into coding. And he sent out a cover letter and basically was like, give me a job, give me a chance. And they did. And that's wild. And he'd only been doing it for a couple months. He hadn't even finished the Udemy course. It may have been only 1 month, actually. So your first rejection is okay. You're going to get rejected. That's part of this whole YouTube, or that's part of this whole development thing, right? People who have 10 years of experience who apply to jobs get rejected. So I wouldn't let it make you, like, I wouldn't have it get you down, right? If you've watched either of my videos where I talk about the jobs that I've applied to, I applied to lots of jobs, ended up getting one, you know? It's not, your first arrow isn't always going to hit the bullseye, but that doesn't mean that you won't make it, right? So yeah, it's an interesting little thing. So, but it's definitely out there. It's definitely possible. You're a freelancer. Teach me your ways, man. I kind of want to get into freelancing. I know if you guys don't know the dreaded dev, he's a homie on here. He does YouTube, he does Instagram. He's popping off on Instagram. He's way bigger than I am on Instagram, and he's coming from my spot here on YouTube. He's growing way faster than I am. And so, yeah, he does, but he used to do freelance and he didn't love it because of the client work. But I honestly think that I would enjoy the client side of stuff. I've never even tried. Like, I've never even reached out to get an freelance gig. So I need to do that. I need to, oh no, my pop filter. I need to do that and try it because I feel like it's something that I would enjoy and that freedom that comes with it. And I think I would enjoy that. So just finished a long 5 days of work. Got stuck at work due to snow and ended up working 34 hours with a small nap on the sofa at work. Holy shit, dude. Where do you live? Do you live in the Northeast? Are you part of that whole like crazy ass wind / snow thing? Because down here on the East Coast, we've been having crazy wind, but in North Carolina, no snow because, you know, North Carolina. Yeah, it's been like 40s and 50s, but you walk outside and it feels frigid because it's 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So yeah, going all in is okay though. Going all in is what you want to do, and it's good to have hope, but it's not a good idea to just let that hope be crushed on one outcome. Oh, South Coast UK, yeah. So we have an office in the UK, and one of the guys that I work the closest with is a Britman, and he also was snowed in, although he didn't end up in the office. So yeah, Leo is literally like right there. He's like right there. Live in Finland, and there's snow in Finland. Doesn't Finland always get snow though? Like it's like that's a thing there, right? Like you get snow. That's part of what like being in Finland's about. See, the UK doesn't get snow very often, so they shut it down. when it gets snow. See, it's like in the States, right? I live in the South now. I live in North Carolina, which isn't the deep South, so they still get snow on occasion, but it's like once every year, once every 3 years. I used to live in Ohio. God, why couldn't I remember the name of my home state? Lived in Ohio. We'd get snow every year, and it wouldn't shut down. Like unless we got like a foot of snow, we wouldn't shut down. So, yeah, it's really fun connecting with people. Plus, the freedom really gives space to expand yourself. Yeah, dude, I agree with that. Um, yeah, I agree. It's a hit or miss thing, right? Like you get that freedom and you get to make your own schedule, you get to pick your clients, you get to do all of that stuff, but then also there's that non-regular income. If you miss out on a couple of gigs after a couple of months, you may run out of money. It's scary. But I like that. I like that challenge. I like that drive to keep you going. I like being in control of my own destiny. So yeah. Erin, do you have a web dev job? So I have, you could call me a web developer. You could call me a software developer. You could call me a pre-sales developer. I wear a lot of hats at the place that I'm at right now. My technical title is pre-sales engineer. And basically what that means is that I'm not actively developing implementations of what we do, but what I do is that I develop either like precursor, like dummy apps based upon real world stuff for like demos in the sales team, or I'm working on new kind of product things that we're specifically trying to target to certain people. So I am developing apps kind of as I go, and they tend to be a smaller size on the project side, but they are of critical importance to the business. So I do develop apps. We use React, Node, TypeScript at work, and MobX for state management instead of Redux, which I'm still terrible at MobX. Don't tell my bosses, but I'm trying to learn it very quickly. Yeah, it's part of the culture there. I feel you, man. Yeah, that challenge and possible pressure can be exciting. I agree. It can also be super stressful. Tell me if I say your name wrong, Marius, but hello. Yeah, it's a fun job, and see, it's got that client side of stuff too. Like I'm going to be on client calls, talking to people, potential clients, and things like that. So I'm excited about that because I'm an extrovert, right? And programming can be a little bit of a weird kind of conundrum for extroverts because you can be head down and just doing your thing at a computer for 8 hours a day, and you don't get that face-to-face interaction or that over-the-phone interaction with a bunch of people. So for me, being able to be on calls and be able to interact like that, it's really, 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 really good. That's right. Don't worry, with a cheesy smile. I'm not sure if it's actually right or you're just telling me it's right. My wife did that to me for a long time. My wife's name isn't like a standard English name. And so I was mispronouncing it for a while and I was told I was good, but I really wasn't. And so it was a little bit embarrassing when I said it the first time in front of our family. How do you recommend to practice JavaScript? It depends. If you're just starting off with JavaScript, I would recommend going through like guided challenges, guided projects, guided builds, things like Udemy courses. I put some Udemy courses in the descriptions of my videos. Now, if you do click on those and you do buy them, I do make money off of it, just to be completely clear, but they're all courses that I've taken that I can personally attest to. You can also try Codecademy. It's free. You can try Team Treehouse. It's not free. I also have links to that. Same deal. I make money off it if you click it. So just so you know. But I do use Team Treehouse I did use it for a long time. I haven't been on it in a while, but I still have a subscription. So if you're just starting out, try those things. Try those guided exercises. Get a good grasp of understanding JavaScript. There's also a free course called JavaScript 30 by Wes Bos. Go through that. It's completely and totally free. Try that out. After you have a good understanding of it, you feel like you can kind of do parts of the challenges alone. Try to build something on your own. Come up with an idea for an app. The classic example, the hello world of first apps to build, is a to-do app because it does use a lot of the logic that you're going to need for a lot of bigger projects. You could try a to-do app, or you can come up with better apps, different apps. To-do apps kind of get stale after a while. So if you are trying to learn vanilla JavaScript, you do a to-do app in it. You learn React, you're doing a to-do app in it. You do Node, you do Angular. The 37th to-do app you've built can get boring. So come up with a different idea. Try to make a clone of Twitter. Try to make a clone of Facebook. Try to make a clone of anything and build those things on your own, and ask questions on Stack Overflow or Reddit or other communities to kind of get those things all in a line. That's how I would suggest practicing JavaScript. And then for vanilla JavaScript, there are some really, really, really cool places online that'll give you actual coding challenges. Like Like look up coding katas and things like that that are like challenges that you can do for JavaScript. Project Euler is a really good one, and those are just like write a simple function to do this, and it'll do it. So let's see. Hey, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Not what I imagined you did for work. Thought you were more front end dev. Yeah, so I mean, I do front end dev work. Like that's what I do pretty much all day, with breaks in between for different calls and stuff. But you know, I have my head down looking at Visual Studio Code all day. Like that's what I do. Hey, Erin, what's a typical day like for you at your job? What do you enjoy the most? What do you dislike the most? Brian, that's a good question. So a typical day for me is a little bit atypical for most people. So I'm the only developer at my company in the States. So we have some development teams we have a development team in London, and we have development teams in South Africa. So I was waking up early anyway. If you follow the channel, you know that I wake up at like 5. Okay, Brussels, I just saw your comment. We're going to have to talk about this because I said the same thing for so long. I promise you it's great. Anyways, so back to the subject at hand. I think that because there's that time difference, my day is a little bit different than a lot of people's. So I'm still pretty junior. I'm working with some technologies that I've never worked with before, and I'm working with a very, very, very large code base that is kind of different for each kind of implementation. So I do require a lot of help when it comes to understanding where things live in the code base and stuff like that. So I wake up at 5 every day. I usually go to the gym and have some coffee. And by some, I mean all the coffee. And then I'm usually on a call with somebody from either South Africa or London for the first part of my day to kind of focus my day. And then I will either go into work that day or stay at home and work from home. And then I code until I hit a point where I feel like I'm not being as productive as I could be. It's usually about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere in that realm. If I'm really getting it, like I'm having a good ass day and I'm just getting it, it may be like 2.5, 3 hours. And then I'll go have a snack. I'll walk around, clear my head, listen to some loud music, maybe hop on a call. My days tend to be broken up by calls a lot. I don't have very many in-person meetings at work because the whole team that I work with is elsewhere. I don't work at the office, or the teams that I work with don't work at the office. Then I'll have lunch, then I'll code some more, then I'll have more calls. Usually my calls are in the afternoon, so I'll have a lot of calls in the afternoon, then I'll go home. That's kind of what my development day looks like. I have like right now I'm working on, what is it, three and a half different projects. So I kind of try to split my day up between those 3 projects and base it around kind of what the current business needs are for those projects and stuff like that. Let me scroll up a little bit here. Tutorials. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to do tutorials, man. There's so many tutorials online and so many good people doing tutorials. I don't know if I could ever live up to their like level of tutorialism. If you look at people like Fun Function or Coding Tutorials 360 or Traversy Media, like those places are killing it. I'm not going to be able to make tutorials like that. I know my style would be a little bit different, but as far as like the content, I just don't think I'd be good at it. So I'd much rather give you more of a picture into the life of a developer as opposed to the tutorial side of things. You can be very successful with tutorials online, like Coding Phase. Look at how Coding Phase's channel blew up, man. Yeah, guy's killing it, crushing it because he has good tutorials and he does it with a flair and a style and a swag. The problem is that I don't feel like I am in a position where I could mentor somebody in real life as a developer. So I don't feel like I should be mentoring people online because I would feel like a fraud. Thinking to start learning PHP or Node.js for backend, what do you suggest? It's going to depend where you are, my friend. If you already know JavaScript, Node is a great way to learn backend. The problem is if that nobody's hiring for backend developers in your area that know Node, but they're hiring for PHP, then hop on that PHP train. If they're hiring for Ruby on Rails, learn Ruby on Rails. If you want to get a job in backend, if you're just doing it to kind of like kickstart your skills and have a better handle on the backend side of things, then by all means, pick which one you like more. And if you like Node more, or if you like PHP more, pick one of those skills. If you want to do WordPress development, learn PHP. Just kind of hop on, take a couple of hours of courses for both and see which one you like more. Find a free resource like Codecademy and see which one you kind of get into more. Both Python and Ruby on Rails are a little bit easier to learn. If you already know JavaScript, Node's a great option. PHP has a ton of jobs out there. Java has a ton of jobs out there. And Android development is on Java. So those are all great things. What do I think of Jonas Schmidtman from Udemy JS course? I actually have not looked at Jonas's courses. The people that I know that I like are going to be, oh God, now I'm going to blank on all their names. Colt Steele. Colt Steele makes great Udemy courses. His beginner bootcamp is great. His advanced bootcamp is great. Michael Greider is another one. His React and Redux courses are great. And then Andrew, God, what is his name? It's Andrew something. I have one of his courses linked in my descriptions of my videos. Not this one, but any of my other videos, click on them. There's a bunch of links in there. One of the courses is by a guy named Andrew, and he makes great content as well. All right, so let's talk about Visual Studio Code. I hated it when I first got it. There were people at my last job who loved it. I was an Atom user. I said, nope, this is too complicated. It's too heavyweight. I just want something that I can type into. Until I started doing TypeScript. If you are going to use TypeScript, use Visual Studio Code. And now, even if I'm not using TypeScript, I think I want to use Visual Studio Code still. Having the console right there inside of the IDE, being able to like just peek definitions and go to definitions in that way, just built in without having to download plugins or anything like that is really, 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 really nice. It feels dirty because, you know, Microsoft and developers aren't supposed to like Microsoft or whatever. But I promise you, Visual Studio Code, once you get used to it, it's very, very, very powerful. What are my thoughts on Linda? Well, my first serious girlfriend's name was Linda. She was a nice girl. But if you're talking about the place to go learn things, I've never used it, so I don't know. It was one of those like really early ones where they had a bunch of like good marketing, so it popped off. But I don't know much about it, so I can't really speak to its courses. Things that I've used are Team Treehouse, Codecademy, Pluralsight, Udemy. And I would endorse all of those if you're wanting to get into them. Code School is another one, but they just got bought by Pluralsight. If I had to rank those, it would be good Udemy courses. There's a bunch of trash on Udemy, but there's a bunch of really, really, really awesome stuff on Udemy. And then Treehouse, and then Pluralsight, and then Codecademy. There's some great daily JavaScript challenges on the W3 resources site. That's a good idea, or that's a good to know. What's up, Edgar? How's it going? We'll have to chat about that later. Daughter bedtime, so gotta go. Do more of these live chats. Definitely awesome. Ciao for now. Brussels, thank you for coming out, man, and have fun putting your daughter to bed. I will see you again soon, my man. Do I prefer remote or on-site work? Right now in my life, I prefer on-site work. I prefer on-site work mostly because it's easier to interact with people when you're on-site. It's easier to be motivated when you're on-site. It's easier to get stuff done when you're on-site, for me. You may be different. You may be different. That's fine. I don't love open offices, so I kind of wish that I worked at a closed office on site, but you know, what can you do? But I would say in the very, very near future, probably in a year or two, remote work would be on equal footing as far as on-site work goes. It's just at my point in my career, I just kind of like that face-to-face interaction right now. What is up, Max? React is great. I love React. As far as a full disclosure here, I have experience in AngularJS, like Angular 1, old school Angular, jQuery, and React. Those are the three things, the three libraries, the three frameworks that I know really well. And I would say React with Redux or React with MobX is by far my favorite. With my current role, do I have a mentor? I don't have a built-in, like chalked up, like full-time mentor, but I do have somebody that I work very, very, very close to with, and he's available pretty much all the time that I need to, except for the fact that he's in London. So sometimes timeframes don't work out very well, but I do have a guy who is a senior developer who is awesome and supportive and British. So when he talks, it sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And yeah, he's a good dude. Some free web dev site courses. So Codecademy is great. Free Code Camp is a thing that a lot of people say I've never used. And then Wes Bos, WESBOS, Wes Bos, JavaScript 30. He also has a Flexbox course and a CSS Grid course that are both free. He makes great stuff and he's an awesome guy. And I wish I was half the developer he was. He's really good. What was your, did somebody else asked a portfolio question, right? What was your portfolio like when you got hired? I thought somebody asked if portfolios were important, but I don't see that question on here anymore unless I passed it. I might have passed it. Anyways, what was your portfolio like when I got hired? So the first time when I got hired for my first job, my portfolio was very minimal. It was just a responsive site that had a list of my projects on it, my contact info, a little bit about me, and a picture. That's all it was. It had 6 lines of JavaScript in it. That's it. The rest of it was HTML, CSS. It was in a grid. It was responsive. It was clean, pretty colors. It was good. That's all I needed really to get that first job. For my second job, I actually had taken down my portfolio site and it's still down right now. And I got my second job kind of through connections that I'd made in the industry. I didn't really need a portfolio. The hiring process for the second job was a lot more laid back because of personal connections that I had. I think portfolio sites are very, very, very important if you're a self-taught developer. For me, I went to a boot camp, and I went to a boot camp that in this area is really well known for producing talent. So it's a little bit easier for me to get away with not having a perfect portfolio, because when they see the boot camp that I went to on my resume, they knew that it was fine. And I also worked for a local startup that a lot of people know that has a lot of success. So that allowed me to get my second job. But if you're someone who's just starting out and you don't have any connections, you don't have any kind of you don't have anything, right? Like you just are self-taught and you've just been nose to the ground, grinding out, learning how to do this. By far, make a portfolio and make it dope. Put down all of the projects that you've built that are awesome and do it. It's important. Is it necessary to learn XML? How often is it used? I don't use XML. I mean, it's a good thing to know, but I personally, in the last 2 gigs, I haven't used it. So yeah. Let's see here. How did I get into coding? That's a fun story. So I got into coding. Hold on. I'm checking one thing on my phone real quick because it just buzzed a bunch of times and doesn't want to load now. So how did I get into coding? I had an idea for an app and I decided that I wanted to build it. I got on Codecademy, tried to build it, and Codecademy was taking way too long. I kind of gave up and then got back into it because I saw a billboard for the bootcamp that I ended up going to, did a bunch of research on coding bootcamps, did a bunch of research on coding careers, just fell in love with the idea of it, found out this bootcamp was legit, went to it and loved it, and now I'm a developer. Been using John Duckett book to learn web designing. Do you recommend any other books? So there's a free online book, not for web designing, but for web development, called Eloquent JavaScript. And it is a great book. It is free and it is online. So you can absolutely pick that up. And I think it's just eloquentjavascript.net or .com or something like that. But if you type in Eloquent JavaScript into Google, it'll take you up there. What is up, Richard Code? What is up, fam? Hey, guys, if you don't know Richard Codes, he is a viewer of mine. He started a YouTube channel. He does tutorials, and I don't know if he does anything else, but he definitely does tutorials. And so click on Richard and check him out, subscribe, show him some love. Is it possible to get hired by a U.S. company even if you are a junior talent and foreign? It's probably possible. I don't know. I don't have a good enough answer for you because I'm not foreign. So it's hard for me to say. Yeah, I mean, I would guess it's possible. It's going to be harder though. It's definitely there's definitely going to be a challenge there, especially if it's your first gig. It would be hard for you to get that. Are boot camps still a thing in 2018? Boot camps are still a thing in 2018. There are still a bunch of boot camps in San Francisco. There's a new one opening up in Durham that is replacing the Iron Yard. At tech hubs, they are. Now, if I lived in let me think, Boise, Idaho, if I lived in North Dakota, would I go to a boot camp? Probably not. I mean, I say that not knowing what Boise, Idaho's tech scene is like, right? So maybe there are a bunch of jobs. I don't know. But if there aren't a lot of jobs, if there's not a lot of need, then I wouldn't necessarily sign up for a boot camp because I don't know that I would be able to get a job. What do I think about Odin projects? I have no experience with Odin, so I can't speak to it very much. How did I learn React and Redux? Did I learn them separately? So yes, I learned React first, and then I learned Redux, living inside of React, right? And the way that I learned them, I had learned Angular 1 in the bootcamp that I went to. I picked up 2 different Udemy courses. I picked up the Stephen Grider React and Redux course, and I picked up the Andrew something React and Redux course. And I went through those, and that's how I learned them. And I built some projects on my own using those technologies, and that's kind of how I picked them up. React is a lot simpler to learn. It's a lot more lightweight. There's a lot less to it. It's a lot easier. The learning curve for Redux is a lot bigger, but once you get it, and it's pretty easy to understand. You just have to have it click that first time, and then you'll get there. How long do you think you should stay in a role before moving on, project-based or other? Gaza, I would say it depends on what your comfortability is and also like how you're growing in that role. If you think you've tapped out on that role, right? You get hired to do HTML, CSS mocks and you build stuff from PSDs and that's all you're doing and they won't give you any more any more different sorts of projects or any more responsibility or any more advanced things, and you feel like you're ready for that, then it's probably time to move on. If you aren't getting the mentorship you need and you feel like you're just stagnant, it's probably time to move on. But if you feel like you're still growing, if you feel like the company's still in good shape, if you feel like you're in a good spot there and the company is in a good spot, then there's probably no reason to move on. Unless you're looking for more money, which can be a double-edged sword. You can get paid more and get a worse job. So what's up, Trevin? How are you doing, my man? I went to the Iron Yard in Durham, North Carolina. I am not a legend, Richard. I am not a legend. Odin used to teach Ruby. Not sure if it does anymore. I turned off it because of that and went to free code camp. Great because of the community there. Yeah, I don't really know what Odin is, to be completely honest. Cold Steel's Bootcamp. I took the advanced bootcamp, right? I did not take the original one, the advanced or the beginner's one, because I had already. I mean, like, it wouldn't be bad, right? I would learn stuff if I went to it, I'm sure, or if I used it, I'm sure. But I have not personally used it. I did go through most of the advanced one, and I liked it a lot, especially the D3 stuff. D3 is amazing. I wish I could be better at it, but I'm not that good at math. But yeah, the D3 stuff is awesome. Colt Steele is an awesome teacher. He brings in awesome people for that advanced one, for sure. Do I see Python getting popular for backend? I see Python getting popular for data science, and data is data, and data will always be around, and it only becomes more important the more data we have, and we're collecting so much data right now. So I would see Python being totally worth learning. Another language to check out if you're wanting to get into data stuff is R. It's just the letter R. It's a really, it's a less popular data manipulation language than Python, but it's also getting pretty popular. Trying to deploy my app to the internet. Hopefully it works after multiple events. Hopefully it does. What are you trying to use to deploy it? I use Firebase for most of my front-end work. My mother says Bonnaroo. Yes, I agree. Bonnaroo. Yes. Also, I don't know if you recognize this shirt, Mother, but you and Dad gave it to me. I don't know where you got it from, but thanks for the shirt. Do you remember when things clicked for you as a developer? Things clicked for me all the time. Like the first week I was at the boot camp, to last week, things have clicked. Different things have clicked, right? You have those aha moments all of the time. And I don't know when they go away, but once they go away, I'm going to be kind of sad. Oh, that's my father on my mother's account. Hi, Dad. I have half of my stream watching. That's what always happens. Or I have half of my family watching the stream. Cold Steel's Developer Bootcamp is literally the shit. That's what Richard says. Literally the shit, in a good way. I'm a self-taught developer. Can I still get jobs? Absolutely. Chris Sean on here. He's a developer. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. He's bigger than I am on here. He has a job. Dreaded Dev. He is an up-and-coming YouTuber, killing it right now, growing at an amazing rate. He's a self-taught developer. I've taught myself a lot of things. I mean, everybody's a self-taught developer to a certain degree. You can get a CS degree, but you have to learn the whole time. So it is 100% possible to get a job as a self-taught developer. Using a service called Python Anywhere. It's for beginners and should be easy. Well, good luck with that, man. Good luck. I'm thinking to pick up JavaScript Bootcamp from Brad Traversy on Udemy to learn, then jump into jQuery and finally go to React. So this is what I'll tell you, sir. jQuery is great to learn. A lot of people will tell you not to learn it right now. And I have two opinions on this, and take them for what they are. It's just one guy's opinion, right? jQuery is really good to learn if you're in a place where there's a lot of old code, because a lot of old code has jQuery. And a lot of what a lot of people are doing right now, a lot of the jobs that I interviewed for the last time I was looking for a job, were we have old legacy code in jQuery and we're trying to make it React, or we have old legacy code in jQuery and we're trying to make it Angular. And that's a big, important piece of the pie right now, is taking this old jQuery code and moving it over. And you don't have to have a really, really, really firm understanding of jQuery to do that job, but it's good to know a little bit. I wouldn't spend a lot of time learning jQuery. Learn vanilla JavaScript and get really, really used to vanilla JavaScript, especially ES6 syntax and using Babel to transpile, those kind of things. Get JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript down. Take a week to figure out jQuery and understand how it interacts with JavaScript, and then move on to a framework. jQuery is not the most important thing to learn anymore. If this was 10 years ago, I'd be talking completely different. jQuery is where it's at. That's how it was 10 years ago. But right now, it's good to know. It's good to have an understanding of. It's good to kind of see how it functions and understand the common use cases for it, especially from back then, legacy code and stuff like that. But it's not the most important thing to learn right now. Who are we talking about just now? The upcoming developer. is probably the dreaded dev. I mentioned his name. The dreaded dev is a guy who's on here. That's his YouTube name. He's also on Instagram. He's killing it on Instagram right now. So check him out. Is there a difference in salary as a self-taught developer and developers with CS degree in web development? There shouldn't be. It should be based on skills. I don't think so. I was making much the same amount of money as what my compatriots were at my last job, who were junior developers as well. What's the average in New York as a web developer? I have no idea. I don't live in New York. I would guess that it's higher than what it is where I am right now, but I really don't know. Can you rewind on this live stream? That's good to know. I didn't know that. How's the Magic Bullet coffee diet going? Yeah, I'm drinking way too much coffee still. I will be honest, the bulletproof coffee, it didn't keep me full, but I needed to use more fats. I forgot to mention that in that video, like whether it kept me full or not. I was hungry an hour later. I used a tablespoon of coconut oil and a tablespoon of butter. I was told to double it, 2 tablespoons and 2 tablespoons. But I don't know that I'm going to do that anymore. I like my breakfast. I like my eggs. I like my turkey bacon. What I have started doing now is something that my mother told me to do and that I've done a lot of research on. It's supposed to be really good. And it's the apple cider vinegar like cocktail that a lot of people make. So it's apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, Himalayan salt, and turmeric, all in a drink that you chug down. And it is not the greatest tasting thing in the world. Kind of tastes like pickle juice. But other than that, I mean, it's supposed to do wonderful things to you. So is it okay to learn stuff from courses for 1 hour a day? I'm asking because I am studying computer engineering and I don't have so much time. This is what you need to understand, man. You need to learn as much as you can in the time that you have without being burnt out. So if an hour a day is what you can put in, then put in an hour a day. If you can put in 30 minutes a day, put in 30 minutes a day. If you can put in 6 hours a day, put in 6 hours a day. An hour a day is going to make it slower than if you could do 6 hours a day. But what you need to do is put in as much work as you can so that you, 1, learn, and 2, don't get burnt out, because those are the 2 things that are going to kill you. Am I dropping weight on keto? Absolutely, my man. I didn't weigh in today and I didn't weigh in yesterday due to some extenuating circumstances with the placement of our scale and how I wake up. But I do weigh-ins a couple of times a week in the morning on an empty stomach before I eat anything or drink anything. And so I am down at least 9.5 pounds in 2 weeks, but that's not a full 2 weeks. I'll know tomorrow what my actual 2-week number is, and it should be more than 9 pounds, although I did cheat yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen in my Instagram stories, I cheated yesterday. I had Mexican food and I ate tortilla chips, because if you put free tortilla chips in front of me, I'm going to eat them. Although it didn't knock me completely out of ketosis, I was still at trace ketone levels this morning. I know this doesn't make sense to half the people in here, so I'm sorry. I did look into keto bombs. I totally want to make them, but I'm also a bad cook or a baker at least, but I'm definitely going to try it out for sure. So Eval, the reason why you consume that many fats is because you aren't consuming carbs. It's a thing. It's called the keto diet. Some people say it's terrible for you. Some people say it's good for you. I really like the way it makes me feel. So it's what I'm doing right now. And I'm shedding weight, which I need to do. Egg and bacon for every morning and chicken and broccoli every dinner. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Just make sure you're getting, if you're doing the keto thing, make sure you're getting enough fats. That's the big important thing. Any diet where you basically get your energy from coffee, caffeine doesn't make a lot of sense to me. No, you get your energy from fats. So what the diet is, and this is going to be super high level, but basically you don't eat carbs. Usually your body uses carbs to fuel energy, but since you aren't taking in carbs, you produce this thing called ketones. Ketones eat like the fat that's stored in your body for energy. That's how it burns fat. And that's also how you get energy. Does the salary depend on the person's skills? Absolutely. Somebody who is skilled in, like, say, Node is going to make a little bit of a different amount of money than somebody who's skilled in Rails, and somebody who's skilled in .NET is going to make a different amount of money than somebody who's skilled in Java, depending upon the needs in the area and what is like in demand right now. I live in Louisiana, where programming isn't as big, so I'm looking for remote jobs on Stack Overflow. How many projects do you think I should have before I apply? I know React, a bit of Angular, Node, and all that front end and back end jazz. Honestly, I would say if you can build, like, it's really hard to say, right? It's hard to instill the confidence in you to be able to apply to jobs. And especially if they're remote, it's a little bit harder to get in front of people or make connections. But if you feel like if you can confidently say React and Node, I would start applying to things and have projects up on a portfolio site, write a dope cover letter, have a good resume, and try to apply to a few jobs. Don't burn all your bridges all at once. See what kind of feedback you get, if you get any interest at all. And if you don't, maybe kind of try to figure out why. Don't feel bad about sending response emails. What was it that didn't make me a good candidate? What can I work on to be a good candidate for this position in the future? Feel free to reach out and try to find out information quickly. And that way you can learn where your skills are compared to other applicants for the same jobs. Thank you for all the answers. You're helping a lot, inspiring me. P.S. Make more live streams. I would love to do more live streams, man. I do live streams on Twitch a lot. So if you aren't following on the Twitch channel, if you know what Twitch is, feel free to go over there and follow me there. I do play video games during it, so it's a little bit more chaotic, but I do enjoy streaming, and I do stream on Twitch a couple of times a week usually. What do you enjoy in your free time? Assuming I have any. I have free time. I like to play video games. I like to go to the gym. I like music a lot. If you were here earlier, you would know that my dad and I are going to Bonnaroo this year. If you don't know what Bonnaroo is, it's this big like 3 or 4 day music festival. I'm in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee. We're going to that because I am super into music. I used to play in bands and stuff like that, played guitar, so I love music. I like to work out. I like watching sports. I'm a big Ohio State fan, big Dayton Flyers fan. I love sports, football, basketball, baseball, soccer. I love it all. What else do I like to do in my free time? I like to walk. I like to go hiking. I really like to hike. That's a great thing about North Carolina. There's plenty of places to hike around here. Yeah, I like to spend time with my wife. She's a pretty awesome person, so she's pretty fun to be around. I like doing trivia. I love trivia. I love Jeopardy. I love HQ Trivia. If you're not on HQ Trivia and you want to sign up, feel free to contact me and I'll give you my code so that I can get free lives. Yeah. And then I like making YouTube videos. Honestly, like a lot of my free time, I spend making YouTube videos and stuff like that. I'm in Norway at the moment, and I've cheated this weekend. Back home tomorrow. Dude, why didn't you take me to Norway? I want to go to Norway. What are you in Norway for? What is up, Casey? How's it going? What is up, the Crusader Rabbits? How are you? Emoji on Dex, what is up? What is up? I think the reason people lose weight on keto is the same reason why people lose weight when they go under chemotherapy or smoke a lot, but long-term, it can't be healthy. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what the research, there's different research to say one thing is right when it comes to nutrition for so many different things. I'm not saying that keto is right for everybody, but I like the way that it makes my body feel right now. And I like that I'm losing weight and I need to lose some weight. And I don't think that it's going to be an entire lifestyle change for me. I don't think that I'm going to be doing it 5 years from now, but I would like to keep it going for a little while until I kind of reach the goal weight that I want to be at. I moved down to North Carolina, and before I moved, I was at a really good weight for where I wanted to be, and I gained a bunch of weight, and I kind of haven't done a bunch of things to fix it, so I'm kicking my butt into overdrive by doing this. Any advice for middle ages, second career job seekers? What is the average age of why is the average age of programmers so young? I would say the biggest reason why the average age of programmers being so young is because of the simple fact that this career didn't exist in the way it exists today 25 or 30 years ago, right? If you take a look at somebody who is 50 years old, they were in school 30 years ago. 30 years ago, there weren't TV shows like Silicon Valley. Hacking wasn't really a thing. Like we were still on that cutting edge of stuff. And so a lot of people didn't go to school for it. And when people didn't go to school for it, not a lot of people got into it. Are you too old to get into it? I don't know how old you are, but if you're not 75, and even if you are, then you could probably still freelance and get gigs, right? You're gonna have competition from younger people, but that's fine. That doesn't mean the good thing about being in your middle age and going out and looking for a career like this is that you have a lot more soft skills than people who are fresh out of college. You have more soft skills than somebody like me who got into this industry when I was 27, which is older than a lot of people get into this industry. And being able to kind of justify that is a big thing. And also being able to speak to the fact that, look, I am changing my entire life to become a programmer because I like the sense of security it gives me, or I like the way the work works, or I like computers, but I never knew that this was an outlet that I could have. Those are all really awesome tools to have in your pocket. And I'm taking this very like rose-tinted glasses approach to this because I honestly believe it. I think that when you get to connect with somebody on a personal level, when you get to be able to write a cover letter to speak to who you are, you get that first phone screen, you should use your age as a weapon and not as a hindrance, because I think that's true. And I see you asked a follow-up question. Do I think ageism is a thing in tech? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's a thing in every field, right? I don't want to be overly optimistic. I am sure that, and they aren't going to know how old you are. They aren't going to know how old you are on that application, and they aren't going to know how old you are directly based on your resume, but they're going to have an idea because you're going to put down your work history, right? And they may not call you back for it. That's a fact. I mean, that's just, I'm just being completely honest. I don't want to beat around the bush and be all rose tint, right? But do I think it matters to everyone? Absolutely not. And do I think you're a better candidate than some young people because you have that experience? Man, absolutely. And there are certain places that may want to reward that. Is WordPress worth to learn? Yeah, there are a lot of WordPress gigs out there, man. WordPress powers, 30% of the internet or something crazy like that. We use WordPress at my job to do certain things. So WordPress is definitely worth learning. Do I ever wear glasses that filter blue light? I do not. I do keep night shift on my phone, and I'll put it on my screen sometimes. The next pair of glasses I get, I think I'm going to go through Zenni Optical. They have an option to have prescription lenses that have the blue light filter. I think I'm probably going to do it. I think it's a good idea. What's my favorite video game? Right now, it's FIFA. I love FIFA. I'm really good. I'm not really good. I really enjoy Fortnite. I'm bad at it, but I really enjoy playing it. I always enjoy the Call of Duty. I like League of Legends. I'm a big proponent of I need to be able to win at the game quickly. Like I can't just get out there and play a game for 20 hours and not win. So I'm not a huge RPG fan. I like real-time strategies. I like sports games. I like fighting games. I like first-person shooters, those kind of things. I need to be able to have some sort of reward quick enough. What is Winnie the Pooh's middle name? Is it the? Is Winnie the Pooh's middle name the? I hope that's the right answer. My favorite nephew. I'm not falling for that trap. Eva, you're 14. That's a good early start, my man. That's a good early start. 18 is a good age to get into coding too, man. It doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't at this point. Like this is still so new. There's competition, but there are tens of thousands of open jobs. And that means power to us, the job seeker. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome for the answers, my man. What kind of skill is also very important for a developer, but are not so very known among? I think a really good skill that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to development, that they don't think about when they first get into it, is having the ability to be able to communicate clearly. And it doesn't have to be verbal. It could be via typing, or like having good communication skills is important for all jobs, really, right? But in coding, you're very, very rarely working on an island. A lot of the times it can feel that way because you're head down coding for hours at a time. But typically, you're working in a team. And you need to be able to communicate what you're doing, what you're having problems with, and ask questions and figure that out. So you really, really need to be able to deal with that. And having those communication skills is going to be sets you apart. And it's going to be a really good thing to have as a developer. Working in a team, communication is key to being a successful developer at a job. Now, if you're freelancing, it's a little bit different. You probably still want to have communication skills to talk to your clients, but yeah. I got a friend who gets paid like 1 to 2K just to code a single page WordPress site. He goes around knocking on doors selling his sites. That's wild, man. That is absolutely insane. I want that gig. Well, I don't really want to knock on doors. I did that for a while. Day of Defeat. Is that a game? I'll write it down. I'm going to put it in the phone right now. Day of Defeat. Is that a real-time strategy? What is that? And what platform is it on? Or version of computer? Day of Defeat. I know it's Tyler. I'm not silly, Tyler. Have I ever been to Greece? If the answer is no, you have to come in the summer. I've never been to Greece. Can I stay with you? Are you in Greece? What part of Greece are you in? I've heard it's amazing. I had a friend when I was in college whose family went to Greece for like 3 weeks and they loved it. Yeah. It's your boy, Joe. How's it going, Coding Phase? How are you doing? If you guys don't know who Coding Phase is, he's in the chat right here. He's also a developer on YouTube. He does tutorials. He kills it. He crushes it. He gives great advice. Check him out. I was talking about you earlier, Coding Phase. Nothing bad, I promise. Any books that I can recommend that aren't coding based? Currently, I'm reading the new Gary Vaynerchuk book called Crushing It. I really like this book called Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. Ready Player One is about to come out as a movie, and if you want to read a book before the movie comes out, Ready Player One is really good. What else is there? The Kingslayer Chronicles. Name of the Wind is the first one of those. If you like fantasy, those are really good. Um, yeah, it's better than Call of Duty. I feel you. I hate Call of Duty, but I play it because it gives me an energy buzz. Um, so yeah, James T. Kirk, is it Tiberius? Edgar, you got it? I'm assuming you got it. Coding phase only reads Star Wars books. Are you one of those Star Wars people that like argues with the like movies because they don't follow what the books do? Do you have that deep understanding of the canon of Star Wars that I don't have? I love Star Wars, but I feel like I can't say the words I love Star Wars because then people will ask me questions that I don't know the answers to. Because I've only ever watched the movies and I don't get in deep. I just want to be entertained for 2.5 hours, and those movies are endlessly entertaining. Oh, I don't even know how to say that word, my man. Oh God, I'm breaking everything. Thessaloniki. I'm looking it up right now. Is it beautiful? I'm assuming it's beautiful. I've been good, Trevin. How are you? Let me look this place up. Tessalonki. Let's look at this place together. Oh, this place is beautiful, my man. This is beautiful. I will be there. It will be there. I will be there. Joe, this is the CAD U37. Does it sound good or bad? Because I couldn't really test the audio before I got on for some reason, and I don't know why. Also, if you just heard that loud crash, that was Leo attacking light shining off of my phone. But yeah, this place is gorgeous. You hate the latest movies, but the books can go deep. Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. Are you studying anything on your free time right now? I'm not studying anything in my free time right now. I am using my time at work to get more familiar with Node, but right now in my free time, I'm building an app on the side, trying to get this Twitch channel off the ground. I've been doing some research on Discord, been doing some research on Patreon. I know those are terrible words. Don't set me on fire. Patreon. A lot of people get pissed off when people make Patreons. I'm thinking about doing it. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do it yet. So don't get pissed at me because I said the word Patreon. But yeah, thinking about it. 4 people in one room watching the stream. So that's Tyler, Trevin, Mom, and Dad. Nope, Tyler, Trevin, you and Dad, I'm assuming, right, Edgar? What is up, Ricky Garcia? If you guys don't know, Ricky is also a YouTuber, also killing the game. Check him out on the youtube.com, Ricky Garcia. He has a great channel, coding channel as well. How much does it cost to fly to Greece? I need to know. I'm going to check it out. We can talk. I want to come to Greece. Greece sounds awesome. Also, this light is killing. I'm a ghost. Look, I'm a ghost. Where's my face? It's gone. The price on this mic, when I bought this mic, it was like $50. It's probably way cheaper now. Let's see. CAD U37. I don't know. It was like, I think I got it for $50 on Amazon at a discount. Like, I think it was on sale that day. CAD U37. And then I bought the pop filter separately. Yeah, you can get this. It looks like you can get it for $35 off of Newegg. You can get it for $25 on eBay. It's used. You can get it for $32 on Reverb, $35 at Walmart. Yeah. So it's pretty cheap. If you like the sound of it, let me know. Is the sound good? I would love to know because usually I just use headphones. Today I decided I wanted to be fancy. What am I planning to do on Twitch? Man, I honestly on Twitch I'm just doing video games, just hanging out, playing video games. I'll talk web development if people come in there and talk web development, but I'm just trying to hang out. That's all it is. Hey ho, Ricky Garcia. Shouting out the coding phase too. Yeah, man, we've got a bunch of coding YouTubers up in here, all doing dope stuff. It's funny when I first started this thing, I started making videos and I was kind of just doing like a developer life video. Like I was just like, hey, I'm looking for a development job. I don't know if there's any videos about this on YouTube, but I'm gonna make one. And I started doing it. Nobody was watching them. And so I kind of switched to like writer content because that's what my degree is in, creative writing. And I was doing NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month. And then I kind of got back into the development thing. Like I never completely stopped doing those videos. And then all of a sudden it popped off. And when it popped off, I realized there were other people doing the same thing. And then I started talking to Joe and I started talking to Chris and we were all talking about it and their channels blew up. And it's just nice to have this little community where like everybody's always around each other's streams and like hanging out and talking like good stuff to one another. It's really nice to have. And I've been way less consistent than those other two guys on the YouTube, but I feel like we all kind of started around the same time. I think Joe might have been first. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride. So what is smart? Oh, it's smart. And the mic is smart. I don't know. I live in North Carolina. I live in Raleigh, North Carolina. Did it pop off out of the blue? Instagram was like that for me. Consistency was the key. It was a little bit out of the blue, and then it was also consistent uploads. For me, it was consistent uploads, and then actually like making videos that were searchable, right? Like the first video that I had that actually did well was skills you need to be a web developer. Like people search for that. They don't search for a channel introduction or other videos that I made with like bad titles, right? Like I could make the same video over and over again if I wanted to, and probably have a lot more views on that video because it would be the same like variation of that title or whatever. That's the biggest thing. But that's the reason why my channel really popped off, is that first video that is terrible. The camera is too close to my face. I stutter throughout it. My jump cuts are bad. The editing is bad. Everything is bad about it. But it's called how skills you need to be a web developer or something in that general realm. It like popped off and got 10,000 views in like a month. And then my channel started to grow. I have not used John Duckett HTML and CSS book. If so, what are my thoughts on them? I don't have any thoughts. Somebody mentioned that earlier in the stream though, that exact name, author. Yeah, that's what everybody's most like skills you need to be. And I redid it. I redid a new one for 2018 because I feel like that video was so shitty. I wanted to remake a new video like with that new like with a little bit new content, but also like just not as shitty. Oh yeah, dude. But Traversy Media's like his version of it is so good, like those animations and stuff, and like he's so in depth with it. I like to try to keep my videos under 10 minutes. That's always my goal. I want my videos under 10 minutes. I know you get more ad money if you try to do the whole over 10-minute thing, but yeah, I just think that I want it under 10 minutes. I'm just trying to give you a peep at the life or what you need to do. So that's what I try to do out here. Guys, I really appreciate you guys coming out and hanging out. We have 22 people here. I think at most we had like 30 something. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I really, really, really need to get off of here. I've got a dinner to go to at my in-laws, and I've got to get ready for it and shower and all of that stuff. So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. $2,200 from North Carolina to however you say that word. Is it cheaper to fly into somewhere else? Probably. I'm going to check on that. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Like I said, if you haven't already checked out the Twitch, please check that out. It's twitch.com or twitch.tv/Erin and Beta. I do live streams over there if you like live streams, and I will talk to you just like I'm talking to you here with more cursing because I'm cursing at me playing FIFA or Fortnite because I'm bad at those games. Anyways, I will see you guys again very soon. I will have more videos coming out this week. I will talk to you later.